What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the main event of the evening. Alongside my brother Enrique Contreras, my name is Jose Contreras, and we are back for another exciting episode of the main events brought to you by Star 6 Media. Now, look, before we start, as always, I got to bring in my brother from the same mother, my co host Enrique Contreras. Ricky, what do you do, baby?
What up, man? I'm celebrating my birthday today. Spent
Yes.
time with the family earlier, and so excited to get this show started, man. So
Yeah.
we're here.
I didn't, Ricky, I didn't call you. I didn't text you because I knew I was going to see you here tonight. And I wanted to purposely say this on the air. You beat me to it. I didn't think you were going to say it, but you beat me to it. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday from all of us here at Star 6 Media. So, everyone watching at home, happy birthday to the best big brother I know, Enrique Contreras.
Thank
Happy
you,
birthday, man.
thank you.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I didn't think you were going to mention today was your birthday.
Shit, I ruined it for you. My
No,
bad.
you're good. You're good. I'm glad you did, though. I'm glad you did. Well, you're here on your birthday, man. We really, really appreciate you. And let's get right into it because we have a great card, a great event for you guys today here on the main event. But don't forget, guys, to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are under Star Six Media. You can follow Star Six Media at Star Six Media on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's underscore Star Six Media. So make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We have our boy Enrique. I'm sorry, Enrique. Oh my God, Eric. It's another E. Oh, my
Oh,
bad. Oh man, I'm thinking about you, brother. Eric Saul Avila, 1/3 of the JCA Sports Podcast, another co-founder here of Star Six Media. Our boy Eric. Make sure to tune in JCA, guys. Me, Eric, and John will be back on, and we have a good show for to talk about tomorrow. But Eric, what's up, man? He says happy birthday, Ricky. And
thank you, Eric.
let's get into the main card, Ricky. I guarantee you, on your birthday, you weren't thinking about talking about this guy, but we got to talk about this guy. All right,
Okay. Is this
Jake
like the pre?
Paul.
Is it? Oh, this is the early prelim section of the show, right?
Yeah. Well, no, this is the
at,
main.
le-
This
at
is the
least,
first
at
match.
least, at least in my mind, I guess. At
Get
least
the
in
name.
my mind, this is the prelim.
Get the name right. Yeah, Eric Sawalavila. My bad, buddy. Um, but yeah, a name we have right here is Jake Paul, Ricky.
Right.
In your eyes, this is the prelims, but in mine is the first match of the night. This is what we're kicking off the show with. Jake Paul, who was undefeated boxing wise,
Hmm.
is undefeated no more. Finally, Ricky, this man fights a boxer, someone closer to his age, someone who is a true boxer, isn't an old MMA guy who started off, with a hot career and then fizzled off, and now he's, just trying to look for a payday. None of those guys. This is an actual boxer, an actual fighter that's going on that's actually relevant around this time in his age. Jake Paul fights Tommy Fury and loses to Tommy Fury. For those who don't know, Tommy Fury is the younger brother of the great heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. So
Right.
this isn't Tommy Fury's blood, man. This is all he does is boxing. He does nothing else.
Right.
Man's a boxer. I would say up and coming boxer, but let's just be honest. This Jake Paul fight was probably his
Pretty
biggest fight he's
much.
ever had. So, but yeah, Ricky, we're starting off with Jake Paul losing finally to Tommy Fury. I was shocked when I texted you. You didn't even know what was going on, but
No.
I still, but, but I still want to get your reaction nonetheless.
Right. Right. Yeah, I knew this fight was gonna happen. But when you text me, I believe it was Sunday. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh shit, it was this weekend. It was this past weekend. I mean, I'm at that point now where I could care less about Jake Paul fights anymore. Ever since that, you know, Anderson Silva fight. However you want to look at it, how you want, whatever you want to believe
yeah.
about that. But uh, this smells to me, this smells rematch and more pay-per-view buys for those who actually care to watch these kind of fights. But and that's really all I got to say about that, man. That's where I think that's where I think it's going. What do you think?
You said you think it's going to a rematch?
Yeah, yeah. There's no
Well,
doubt. There's no doubt there's gonna be a rematch, and whether you believe this is fixed or not, I mean, I'm in the camp where maybe I don't know. Maybe Jake has run out of opponents' ideas and be like, you know what? Let me lose a fight, and then let's set up a rematch for someone like Tommy Fury. Who's been rumored to fight him for many years now. Actually, I mean they've been back and forth for a while now.
yeah, there's bad blood between these two guys. These two guys didn't like each other. Um, Tommy Fury and Jake Paul, they were supposed to fight many, many times before. It just never happened, Ricky. It never worked out the way it was supposed to. Whether
Hmm.
Tommy Fury was hurt and pulled out, or Jake Paul demanded some stuff and it didn't work out. Regardless of the fact, there's money problems involved. These guys were supposed to fight twice before, it never happened. Finally got to happen this past Sunday. It was put
Yeah,
up or shut up time. There was a lot of smack talking between the two guys, a lot of pride in this fight. And again, I was also under the impression that you know um, Jake Paul's fights were fixed. Maybe he was, talking to these MMA guys that, hey, tell you what, you're looking for a payday, being that you've had your entire career in UFC and you never got paid enough. I'm gonna give you the biggest payday of your life. All you have to do is drop to me in this round, make me look dominant, right? Because
right.
believe it or not, or agree with it or not, but someone like Jake Paul, everybody hates Jake Paul when it comes to boxing. Everybody wants to see this man lose.
Right.
So with that being said, people are going to pay a pretty penny to see this man get knocked out, and it
He
hasn't
al-
happened. It
he
hasn't
also
happened.
has a very loyal fan base too that I've seen that
Yeah,
actually believe he's a legit boxer. There's nothing you could tell these people. They be like, man, Jake Paul's he's the greatest of all time in professional boxing. So there are actually those people too that would pay to see him do whatever the hell he wants to do.
yeah.
So I would not deny the guy's popularity, his following, the money that he has. For him to be in this position, to be able to do this stuff and make tons of money out of it. Hey, you get my respect, man. 100%.
Well, yeah.
At the
Look, it's a cash grab. Same
Yeah,
same with same when
I enjoy. Look, I appreciate the hustle. I'm
yeah.
always I'm about that. I appreciate that. So good on Jake Paul for that. Doesn't mean I want to watch his fights though. I want to watch some real fights.
No, I get it. I understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I was just about to say it's the same as the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight. We know damn well Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers of all time.
yeah,
He if he wanted to, he could have put Logan Paul down. I believe so. But
yeah.
just
There,
like
there, there, there was there was speculation. I remember in that fight that he actually got him pretty good, and Logan was kind of like about to fall forward, and Mayweather was kind of carrying him a little bit to keep him up. There was speculation on that. Who knows if that's true or not? But yeah, he could have put him out at any time during that fight.
you know, that's what I'm saying. The conspiracy is there between the Paul brothers when it comes to
Yeah,
boxing. It's a cash grab. Who's going to turn down the money? I wouldn't. You talk
no,
about for one fight for one night. You know what I mean? You could
right,
easily say, look, I'm 30, 40, 50 years old. At the end of my career, this guy's 20 years younger than I am, strong. You know, let's be honest here. If you train professionally for a year, 6 months to a year, you're gonna gain some skill. If that's all you're doing, you could be anything. You could be a YouTuber, you could be a chef, you could be a police officer, you could be a podcaster.
right.
If you and I, Ricky, train 6 months to a year boxing with some professional trainers, some guys who actually do it every single day, who's done it their entire career, you
Yeah,
don't think you and I will pick up some skill and actually look pretty good in the ring?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing about Jake Paul is that he actually has all the time in the world to just
Yeah,
completely focus on boxing. He doesn't. I mean, he's rich. He has a lot of money. He doesn't have to work a part time, full time job, and then he's able to afford some of the best trainers in the world. So, and then plus all the time and the money that he has. Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I mean, as I look here, Tommy Fury's only have nine. He has before he fought Jake Paul, he had 8 wins, 0 losses. So he's
yeah,
he's pretty early in his career himself. He's 23 years old too,
yeah.
very young. So, um, yeah, this was a good matchup for him. Whether you believe it was a legit fight or not, I mean, Tommy Fury
I
is
do.
legit.
I do. I believe it's a legit fight. Um, because I like the thing is if it's scripted, if it's fixed like everyone thought it was before when it comes to Jake Paul and his fights, if it's really like that, I don't see him dropping to someone that he was blatantly disrespected by, and in return him disrespecting so much him, and you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see it happening. You know what
Right.
I mean? I don't see Jake Paul if it is scripted. Him agreeing to lose. At least the first fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
I could have saw it go into decision, or I could, or like like draw. I mean, or I could have saw it. Um, I don't know. I could have saw it being any. There could have been any other finishers. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right. Right.
this was a legit loss by Jake Paul, and he
Yeah.
looked outclassed in the fight. I didn't see the fight, but I saw the fight highlights. I was reading. I read the articles. I was with people. I was talking to people who did see the fight, and Tommy Fury looked dominant throughout the entire fight. Jake Paul did land some shots, but you're going to land some shots. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like as you mentioned, someone who's training there, every single day. When you have the money, you have the time, you have the resources to do that. You're going to land some shots.
Right.
I really did think he was going in thinking he was going to win, and it didn't happen. He finally lost, which is great. Is there going to be a rematch? Of course, there's going to be a rematch. There's too much money involved. Jake Paul could easily be like, "Hey, I'll throw you another 50 million to do it to have a rematch with me." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he'll probably win that one, or I don't know. But if you're Tommy Fury, why not? Why would you turn down $50 million? Why would you turn down $30 million?
Oh yeah, this is great for Tommy Fury.
Right?
So young and then up and coming in his career.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. This is great for him, man. He's making money.
A guy who just had a baby, by the way, firstborn.
Oh,
He
congrats.
just had a baby. I mean, why not? That's money. You know what I mean? This was a win-win for Tommy Fury.
Oh yeah,
A win-win.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Oh
He
yeah, and
got to
speaking of Floyd Mayweather, since you brought him up, I think he also fought his little circus exhibition fights this past weekend to like a near empty crowd at the O2 Arena.
It's sad, man. That's really sad.
Yeah.
What happened there? Like you're
And
Floyd.
he was fighting a former MMA fighter too. I don't think I knew who he was. I didn't catch his name, but um yeah. Damn, the
Why do you
damn
think?
arena was damn near empty, man. So I think that's it for Floyd.
Why do you think that is, Ricky? Why do you think is it just nobody pays attention, nobody cares?
Nobody
Um,
cares. I mean, this dude is what now, 46 years old. He's not the same that he once was, and everybody sees through the bullshit. Everybody knows he's in there fighting an overmatched opponent, where everybody knows he's gonna outbox. He's not gonna push the pace. He's not gonna try to knock him out. He's just gonna do what he does, stick and move. It's a circus. It's all it is, man. Everybody's seeing through the BS now with Floyd Mayweather.
well, you guys are watching the main event here with my older brother Rick Contreras. My name's Rick Contreras, and guys, we were just talking boxing. Jake Paul losing to Tommy Fury. Ricky's happy. I'm happy. Look, I'm all respect in the world of Jake Paul. Doesn't matter if you're a YouTuber, just a person in general. If you're able to get into the ring and slug it out with somebody
Yeah.
legitimately for some money, man, you got my respect altogether. Because just training for a fight, just having that camp in general is tough. For you to go in there with the other guy and literally box it out, all my respect in the world, man. But yeah, finally lost Ricky to Tommy Fury, and that's that, man. You got any other last thoughts before we move into wrestling?
No, let's get into some wrestling, man.
Let's get into some
It's
wrestling
an
because we got some juicy topics here. Right
yeah.
before we get into it again, guys, it's my brother Enrique's birthday. The beautiful Paulina Martinez wishes you a happy birthday, Ricky.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you, Paulina, for watching, and thank you for wishing my brother a happy birthday. All right, let's get into some wrestling news. Speaking of wrestling news, WrestlingNews.com is claiming that, Ricky, there are some wrestlers in WWE that are not happy about legends and celebrities taking up slots on the WrestleMania 39 card.
Mm,
Why? Because this means they're going to be left off it. Let's be honest, right?
right.
We're talking about celebrities. We're talking about guys like Logan Paul.
Logan
We're talking about
Paul's on it.
legends. We're talking about legends. We're talking about people like Lita, Trish Stratus, who just returned last night on Raw. They're going to be in the mix of WrestleMania.
Yep.
John Cena coming back, facing Austin
Again,
Theory.
Yuri. Yep.
So that takes away a spot at WrestleMania. Anthony Flores, happy birthday, Ricky. We appreciate you, Anthony.
Thank
Not
you,
only for
Anthony.
watching, but for wishing my brother happy birthday. But yeah, man, there's news. There's news to that. I mean, obviously, this is every year. This isn't new when it comes to WWE. This isn't new when it comes to WrestleMania. We know there's going to be some celebrities. We know there's going to be legends coming back. Last year was Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
Right.
Bad
And
Bunny
that,
was at WrestleMania one time, right? Ronda Rousey before she started her career. You know what I mean? This
yeah.
happens. So of course, there's always going to be people, or wrestlers, talent in the back that are going to not be in the mix. It sucks.
I think more so this year than last year, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Unless
That's what it's
they
looking like.
throw in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, where basically it's just the rest of the people who don't have any matches are in there.
They just throw
filling,
them in there. They're just throw them in there. Yeah, we got to get everybody on. So
right, filling up the prelims or whatever. That's basically it. You know what I mean? And
right.
I bring this topic up because I feel like there's gripe there. I feel like there's some legitimacy there, right? If
Mhm.
you're somebody like Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, hell, AJ Styles,
Oh,
right?
he doesn't have a clear match yet, does he?
Where is he hurt? I don't even know if he's hurt or not. Because
I
if
don't.
not, what the hell are they doing with AJ Styles? Right? There's guys
Right.
like that. Shinsuke Nakamura, where's he been? I don't think he's hurt.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so either.
Where's Shinsuke? You know, like there's just there's so many there's questions, man. Like Liv Morgan doesn't have anything going on for WrestleMania. There's a plethora of women that don't have anything going on. It seems like, unless again they're thrown in a battle royal just out of the blue.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that, like, I get it. There's only a few spots, but you have 2 nights now. You have 2 nights with 3 hours to fill each night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if anything, you should have more of an opportunity to fill up as many wrestlers as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I
with that
mean,
being said, I mean, do you think this is ever going to change? Do you think it's good for wrestling having celebrities, having legends come back, or is
well,
it a gimmick that should die out already?
it's a gimmick that's never gonna die. This is WWE. They've been doing this for years. They're gonna bring anybody that's willing to put their name and likeness in the WWE system, whether it be during WrestleMania season or any type of promotion or anything like that. The WWE, they love their stars, they love their celebrities, they love their legends. So if anybody is willing to come in, WWE would be more. I mean, would love nothing more than to bring these people in and put them on a show like WrestleMania. So you know, John Cena, he's been in Hollywood for a long for a really long, pretty much the entirety of last year, and I think even the year before. So
Yeah.
when John Cena says he's available, whether it be Triple H or Vince McMahon, they say, "Yeah, come on in. We'll put you on the card." They were trying to get The Rock. So imagine this: if The Rock was able to be was going to be the one to face Roman Reigns, there goes Cody's spot,
Yeah.
right?
I was
So
actually
it
reading
could
some
it could
lines.
it could have been even worse. So The Rock said that he couldn't be he's not in shape. He wouldn't be ready for the for the main event of WrestleMania. So you know that was another one. So uh, it's nothing new. We've heard these frustrations before, and it's especially frustrating for the full time wrestlers or superstars that go there. They work their ass off. They bust their ass. They get injured. They get hurt. They get bruised up. Only to have their spots taken. By these part timers or these celebrities. It's part of the business, man. What can you say?
Yeah. No, I mean it's part of the business, but like, I mean, there's so many guys. Look at the Elimination Chamber. You have nothing going on with Damian Priest right now. I mean, they may have hinted at something between him and Johnny Gargano that
Yeah.
might be happening, right? Because last night they both confronted each other, which made no sense, but whatever. What I guess around this time it doesn't. You just got to fill up spots.
Right.
They may have hinted between him and Johnny Gargano, but other than that, there's really nothing going for him. You have someone like Montez Ford, who was also an Elimination Chamber. What do you have going for him at WrestleMania right now? He's hot, man. Right now, after that performance, how do you not put him in a match somehow, some way at WrestleMania, whether it's singles or even tag team? He has nothing going on tag team either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bronson Reed, who had a great also had a great performance in the Elimination Chamber. What is he
It was
doing?
right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't put him at the top of the list right now, but someone like Montez Ford, yeah. AJ Styles,
Right.
who else can I think of? Like you said, Damian Priest. Try to showcase some of these guys. Try to put a little more of a spotlight on these guys, so that way they could show. Excuse me. So that way they can show more of what they're made of, and just grow from there.
Yeah. Sheamus, another guy, has
Sheamus.
nothing going. You know what I mean? There's speculation that maybe match between him, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Champ. That might be great.
Yeah.
But then there's the list goes on and on. You have Braun Strowman, you have Ricochet, you have Otis, you have Chad Gable. There's so many guys that you're featuring week in and week out, but you had nothing planned as far as when it comes to WrestleMania. And at least not yet, right? You have 30 days, but 30 days is not that long. That's 4 weeks, man. You got to
Right.
get, you if you're trying to put everything in 4 weeks, that's going to be tough.
It is,
Eric,
man.
Eric in the comments says, I always thought Priest could be that guy. He needs his slot or his shot. Slot and shot. He needs a slot in the WrestleMania card, and he needs his shot. And I agree with Eric 100%. Damian Priest is a future champion in my eyes. The guy has the look. He has the look, man.
Yeah, they gotta give him the opportunity because he's not that young. I think, man. I think he's in his mid 30s.
Really?
Yeah, when I last checked. So they gotta give him the ball now because
Yeah.
I think he's money in the main event scene for sure.
I do too. You know what he reminds me of? This faction a little bit. It's different, right? But this faction, in a way, when it comes to Damian Priest, it reminds me a little bit of Evolution when you have Batista, this big, intimidating animal. You know what I mean? Who was in the shadows because you have, he's behind guys like Randy Orton, Triple H, Ric Flair. I really do see Damian Priest in that role in a way. You know what I mean? He's behind Finn Balor. He's behind Rhea Ripley. Even Dominic Mysterio is getting a lot of camera time, and his character is thriving. With how it's going. So he's behind these guys a little bit, but he's someone like how Batista was in Evolution, someone who could really excel and do a great job.
Yeah,
in the title contention picture.
Yeah, and not to mention Batista at the time was also in his 30s, mid 30s.
There you
He
go.
wasn't young. He wasn't a young guy,
Yeah.
and then and he became a top guy in that company, right? Right in his mid 30s. So you can do the same thing with Damian Priest. You just got to give him the chance.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think he's a good promo. He has a commanding voice. He can say his promos right. He sounds believable. So, and he's a big guy.
Yeah.
So he's a powerhouse. So you just give him the ball and let him roll with it.
It'll have to end similar in a similar way Evolution ended, where maybe Finn Balor, you know what I mean? Maybe he turns out Finn Balor, or maybe Finn Balor does something to kind of piss him off in a way where he has to get out of the bloodline himself. Then you turn him into a baby face, and from there, I think the ball will start rolling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Eric says your boy Johnny is winning me over. He's talking about Johnny Wrestling, Ricky. Johnny Gargano. He doesn't know about Johnny Gargano.
He said Johnny Gargano's winning him over?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good. He's a good wrestler. He really is. He's just a small guy. So they gotta it's just like that, you gotta hide when you use smaller guys like that, you gotta hide their weakness.
It's yeah, I guess so. I guess so in a way, right? But if there's anybody that knows how to use Johnny Gargano, it's Triple H. He perfected Johnny Gargano, at least Johnny Gargano's character in NXT. And Johnny, look, you guys, Eric didn't watch NXT. I don't blame him for not knowing about Johnny Gargano. But let me school you a little bit, my friend. This man is him. All right. Every match you put him in, every pay-per-view, doesn't matter who it was. Adam Cole, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Roode, Andrade, Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Finn Balor, you name it. Every guy they put him against at NXT, that match, if it wasn't match of the night, it was match of the year. And he's won a couple of those in NXT. This man, I'm telling you, is legit. Like Ricky said, you got to hide his weaknesses, but at the same time, you just got to let him cook, man. You got to let him do what he does. You know what I mean? You can't hold him back because the man, he is a performer. He is a performer. He knows how to be a heel. He knows how to be a baby face. The guy is legit. He really is. You just gotta give him that shot. You know what I mean? You gotta let him and whoever he's facing put on a performance. He's somebody I always said will do great in AEW because his style of match, his style of wrestling
It fits that
is
company, yeah.
it's exactly what AEW is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whereas WWE is more of kind of like a show,
Yeah,
like almost like a soap opera or something like that. You gotta be a good character.
yeah,
You gotta have some kind of personality. You gotta be good on the mic and stuff like that. AEW, they have that too. They have guys like MJF who's really good on the mic and is a very, very believable heel. But, then you got guys like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks that put on 5-star matches, like
dude. Every single
and
time.
so
Yeah, every
but
single time.
but he's there solely because Triple H is in power. Because if not, I have no doubt at all that he would have been in AEW if Vince McMahon was still in power.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just at the Elimination Chamber, he made me a believer. He's good, man.
He was really good in that match. Absolutely, man. I don't know if I don't know if I gave him props when we were talking about it, but he did. He looked really good in there.
Yeah,
Johnny
of
Gargano
course.
did.
It's not surprising. It really isn't, and I'm glad that everybody else is starting to catch on because I'm telling you, the guy is legit for sure. So yeah, man. I mean that's the gripe going on. That's the rumor going around AEW. I mean WWE, Ricky. And the only reason why I bring that up, and I think we should talk about this first right now. But the only reason why I bring that up because there has been rumors, there has been speculation. Celebrities and legends coming back. It's always been a WWE thing, right? But what's been always the constant up until this year? Vince McMahon in power, right?
Yeah. Right.
Now that he's not, or that we assume or now that he wasn't, right, for a brief time, and Triple H was in power, there was always thought like, okay, things are going to change, things are going to be better for everybody, even the guys who aren't getting enough TV time, even the guys who maybe were their characters were getting switched, like Karrion Kross or Pete Dunne, who we all know as Butch, right?
Right.
And Pete Dunne's another guy who at NXT was legit, but on SmackDown with Butch, I mean, he's in a tag team with Sheamus and I forgot the other guy, Rich Hollins. Rich Hollins. You don't see it. You look at this guy like he's nobody, but in NXT he was that guy.
He was good,
right?
Yeah.
Pete Dunne was the bruiserweight, man. He was legit. Like, I love Pete Dunne. I was excited when he got called up, but then I see what Vince did to him. Like, there's no way. Butch, who the hell's Butch?
I shook my head and laughed when I saw him when he turned him into Butch. Turned him into this little this little fucking pit bull running around wanting to pick a fight with everybody.
Right.
I actually thought it was funny.
I mean,
thought it was funny. But
it's
it also it made me shake my head too. Like, man, this dude was good in NXT, and then you made him into a joke.
Another guy in the title contention, another guy who put on 5-star matches every single time he was in the ring.
Yeah.
So, and again, there's like I bring all this up, right? Because it's like, Vince McMahon came back. Did we all forget about this?
He's the chairman of the board.
Right.
Yeah.
But now there's rumors and there's some speculation around the industry and the dirt sheets that he may be even back in creative.
Either back in creative or influencing.
Yes,
creative.
or influencing creative.
Yep.
And people are starting to think that because you have this thing going on with Brock Lesnar and Omos that makes no sense.
No, man. Yeah, where the hell did that come from? I mean, listen, how many times did Triple H use Omos since he's been in?
None.
Since he's went into, almost none, right?
None. And all of a sudden he has a WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar.
What the fuck? And then Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. That also does not make sense to me, man.
So random.
Random as hell. Like, why is he coming after Bobby Lashley? Why?
Right. You're on SmackDown, bro. What do you have against Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar? It makes no sense in the world.
Oh, none.
You know what I mean? And that's
that alone right there. That alone right there just makes me believe that he's even Triple H has admitted publicly that him and Vince, they have talks when it comes to creative and he might throw out some ideas at Triple H, but at the end of the day, he says that the final say comes to him, Triple H.
Well, come on. You know how awkward would that be? This is your father-in-law. How awkward would it be? Yeah, okay, Vince, I'm listening to you. obviously I get the final say. But then you
You
how are
gotta
you
push
not
your
gonna listen
Omos.
to it?
He's almost 7 feet. You gotta put Omos in. You
Good
know,
shit, such good shit.
it's good shit. And why'd you bring Bray Wyatt? But if you're gonna bring him back, put him in there with Bobby Lashley for no reason, right?
No reason. See, that the storytelling was always the issue with a Vince McMahon led creative product, right?
Right.
It was always the storytelling that just wasn't there. It just reeked of an outdated old man dying in a
Right.
chair, right?
And then the Royal Rumble also made me question the fact that Cody Rhodes was at number 30. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I think I don't know that also that didn't seem right to me as well. I think he should have been number 20 or 22, 25. You know what I mean? But to put him in the number 30 spot when everybody was expecting him since he hadn't to come out, I don't know that also felt fishy to me.
There was no surprise
It was no
for him coming
surprise.
back. You guys literally promoted it weeks before the Rumble even started. Hey, Cody Rhodes is coming back. If that's the case, put him at 15. Put him
I
at
know,
15.
I know, right? Make if you're trying to build some sympathy for the guy, right? You want people to care about him. You want to make everybody forget about Sami Zayn. You should have put Cody Rhodes through hell before winning that Royal Rumble.
There's
No,
speculation that the reason why they didn't was because he was still coming back from an injury that he just got medically cleared for. There was maybe
Mm,
some thought that maybe we don't rush it, maybe we don't overdo it because we don't want him to re-injure it.
I can understand that.
Yeah, because
At
they
least
knew
put
at
him at
that
20.
time.
Okay, but what about 25? Number
Right. I
25.
mean, no, I mean 20 is fine. Number 20 is fine.
Right.
You're going into a Royal Rumble when there's already like 5 or 6 guys there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get hit once or twice. Literally get hit once or twice and then go down, and you could just milk it for a couple minutes. It's come on. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, but
First,
then you had Gunther chopping the shit out of his peg. Like, you know what I mean? So, were you really trying to protect the guy? They were the last two in there, and
that's
they were
true.
and they were beating the shit out of each, especially Gunther, chopping the shit out of that surgically repaired pec.
A
You
match
know,
between Gunther and Brock Lesnar is what everybody wanted.
that's what
Everybody
I
wants
wanted.
and everybody wanted.
That is what I wanted. And That's what
What
I
they
that's what I was somewhat expecting.
Yeah,
If it
I
wasn't gonna
agree.
be Bobby Lashley again at WrestleMania, I was expecting Gunther. I was not expecting Omos. That just came out of nowhere.
It really did. It came out of nowhere.
And isn't Baron Corbin being featured a little more on Raw?
He's being featured, right? But this was after you had him under JBL's wing, and then he just goes on a losing streak, which in my eyes, you
Because
literally
Vince,
just wasted JBL's entire time being there. I know he's
yeah,
not gonna complain because he's getting paid and he's on
no,
TV.
because
But
Vince loved Baron Corbin.
yeah,
He didn't care if anyone else thought he, because I mean, nobody really liked Baron Corbin. He was boring, but Vince
well,
loved him. He put him on TV. He put him all throughout the show on Raw back then.
man, you're right, dude.
All
He
of a
did
sudden
love.
he's starting to show up more because I don't think Triple H used him all that much either.
No, he didn't. Or if he did, it was one or two matches getting squashed, and that was it. But you're right.
Yeah,
Baron Corbin is starting to get more of a storyline. And you know what? You know who else was Vince McMahon's boy? Austin Theory. Austin Theory wins Elimination Chamber, and now he's getting a prime slot with John Cena
right.
at WrestleMania.
Hey, oh look, hey, I gotta say that one. I think Vince was right all along with that one.
Oh yeah,
I do see Austin Theory as a future main eventer. So if there's anything the old man got right, it's that. I'll give him that. Everyone else, come on, man. Omos, Baron Corbin, come on, get the fuck out of here, man.
it really doesn't make sense with what they're doing with Bray Wyatt, what they're doing with Omos. But you know who else isn't getting featured at WrestleMania? Someone that you and I are really high on, LA Knight.
He's not being featured.
What's going on with him at WrestleMania? Nothing.
Nothing.
LA Knight is a guy, man. LA Knight is the guy.
Yeah, and that was a guy Vince brought him up and changed his name completely, gave him a shitty gimmick that didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And when Triple H came back, he gave him back, his identity, and now, yeah, man, I think he's really good, man. I mean, this is a guy you can make into a star now, like
absolutely.
right now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And putting him in there with Bray Wyatt didn't do him any favors at all,
yeah.
man.
I
I
agree.
didn't like that lights out match. I think they buried him with that one.
Someone had to. I mean, I guess someone had to lose, and of course, it
Okay,
wasn't going to be Bray Wyatt.
okay, throw Dolph Ziggler in there. You know what I mean? Chad Gable, somebody like that. If it's all about Bray Wyatt, put him in there with a guy that you really don't have any real plans for. That
Yeah,
you're not really trying to build up. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't been doing shit with Dolph Ziggler for years. Same thing with Chad Gable. You know, guys like that.
yeah.
But LA Knight is someone you can make, and you put him in there. You put him in there, in there with Bray Wyatt when it's all about Bray Wyatt and his match and his spooky shit. It didn't do him any favors. I'm just saying.
No, I agree. But then that's another guy that's being for right now at least being left off the card at WrestleMania. Look, I love Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul definitely deserves a spot at WrestleMania. Every match he's on is fire. It's 5 star. It's if it's not 5 star, it's damn near 5 star, 4.5 star. Logan Paul is legit a good competitor. I think him and Seth Rollins are going to tear the house down. You know,
Probably
but
be the match of the night.
it might be. I mean, just like last year when it came to Cody and Seth, right? But at the same time, you better do right by Seth and give Seth the win, because it seems like Seth has been losing a lot lately, a
Yeah,
lot. And he reminds me of John Moxley. He's your guy at WWE who's Mr. Reliable, who's Mr. Consistent, who's always there putting on a show, who main eventing Raw is one of the top guys, if not the top guy on Raw.
right.
You know what I mean? That's someone that you could definitely he's star. He deserves a title shot. He deserves a championship belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he deserves a spotlight. That's for
Yeah,
sure. He does.
he deserves a spotlight.
Yeah. So, but I also feel like Logan's also been losing too. But who cares, right? I mean, this.
I mean, he lost to Roman Reigns.
Who do you? Who do you had? Who do you?
He lost to
Oh, the
Roman
Miz.
Reigns.
He beat. Then he
He
beat the
beat the
Miz
Miz.
before that, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
he beat the
yeah, he's
Miz.
all right. Yeah, he's all right.
Our boy CP. What up, CP? Those titles need to be split so more talent can be recognized. Oh yeah, we agree with you 100%. 100%. And
Word.
CP, we were talking about it last week. We think WWE messed up and not having those titles split sooner than WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Because now what's going to happen when Cody wins? If Cody, I mean, look, I think everybody speculates Cody's going to win,
Right.
right? But you brought up a good point last week, Ricky. That might not be the case.
That might not be the
Because,
case only because Roman Reigns is almost at 1,000 days. 1,000 days reigning as undisputed Universal Champion.
yeah,
And you don't think WWE wants I'm pretty sure they have it in the back of their mind. Should we let him go this long, make this historic, make this absolutely historic for a guy like
yeah,
Roman Reigns, right?
yeah,
I'm sure it's very, very tempting. So it's not for me, it's not 100% locked that he
yeah.
loses.
And it won't be 1,000 days until after WrestleMania. So
Yeah,
if that's the case, it's going to be tough, man. Because because now you got to keep them unified at the moment. Maybe at Backlash they make the move. Who knows? But then by then it's like, well, what story?
right.
Who's gonna?
And then it's backlash. Who
What?
cares,
Well, no, it's not that. Who cares, right? I think it's just more like you had a really good storyline going with Sami Zayn. He could have won that in Montreal, and that would have been one of the biggest things going for you, right?
Right, right,
And you even have another big story with Cody Rhodes. The reason why it's not getting as much hype as the Sami Zayn one, as we mentioned last week, is because they're not really, talking about what Cody did outside of WWE. But as fans who know Cody, we know what this man's been through. We know everything he's done just to get back at this moment. So for you and I, this is a huge story. It's just not getting the same kind of recognition because they're not, acknowledging that, right?
right.
But still, like a story like this has to end in a spectacle like WrestleMania. So it's like I don't see it. It's not going to be probably. It'll still be a great story. It'll still be a great ending, but it'll be much more impactful if it happens at a stage like WrestleMania.
Yeah. Either that or even SummerSlam too. It
Yeah,
could even happen at SummerSlam. I mean, I don't know if we want to wait that long, but you never know with this company, man. You just never know.
yeah. CP goes on and says WWE is known for making huge changes after WrestleMania,
Yeah.
but they're also known for making changes at WrestleMania because usually after WrestleMania is over with, it's like a new season for WWE. It's a brand new season. Now we start off fresh, right? It's like a new year, a league new year, right?
Yeah.
For WWE, it's it. That's why that's why the Raw after WrestleMania is so great, because then you get guys brought up from NXT. You get guys guys or women coming back from injury, right? You start debuting people again. That's why I think maybe Big E makes his debut at Raw after WrestleMania. Maybe Shinsuke Nakamura comes back at the Raw after WrestleMania. That's why maybe you see someone like Jay Switchblade White, which is our next topic. You like that segue? Make his WWE debut, if he does indeed sign with WWE, at the Raw after WrestleMania. And now that we're talking about that, Ricky, Jay Switchblade White, for those who don't know, is a legit wrestler, someone who's been in New Pro Japan for the last few years, someone who's always been in the indies, who's made his way up. He's a guy similar to Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega. You know, he was in the Bullet Club all those years ago with Finn Balor, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, Kenny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy is legit. And he's a free agent. The free agent.
Do I think he comes to WWE?
I mean, there's rumors.
Ask me. Do you think he goes to WWE?
Well, do you think, Ricky, that he goes to WWE? Or does he sign with AEW?
I think he goes to AEW. I think he goes to AEW. Only because I think he has a lot more friends there. Even though I also think he might get lost in the shuffle over there, if I'm being honest.
I mean, yeah. I agree.
But if he goes to WWE, I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, if they offer him a lot of money and he goes straight to the main roster, not to NXT, then yeah, absolutely, I can see it happening in WWE.
The thing is,
I feel a nudge. I don't know. He might show up to AEW. I'm not sure because Tony Khan cannot resist.
He's been on AEW before.
Yeah.
He's been on AEW before. You know, AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling had that partnership. They even had that Forbidden Door pay-per-view here in Chicago that was voted the best pay-per-view of all last year, or at least for AEW at least.
Of all of wrestling, actually.
Was it all of wrestling? Wow.
Yeah, it was all of wrestling. Yeah.
It was a great pay-per-view. It was really for those who find it, you guys can watch it. The AEW's Forbidden Door was legit.
Yeah, and they're gonna do another one this year, which might be even better with the names considering. You know, the names being considered for that one. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that when it gets soon. But
yeah, for sure. But the Forbidden Door pay-per-view was AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is the biggest wrestling company in New Japan and in Japan. It was basically, you know, the Forbidden Door was broken. You know, here we have two different companies going head to head, and Jay Switchblade White, who was the champion at that time.
Yep.
You know, he had a main event with it was him, it was Adam Cole. It was a fatal four-way. It was him, Adam Cole. I forgot the other two guys. It was two guys.
Kazuchika Okada.
Okada, yes.
Okada and there was someone else in that match too.
I forget another guy from Japan.
Yeah, but that was a great match.
Really great match. Really good match. And yeah, so anyways, he's a free agent, Ricky. Yeah. And if you're WWE, you cannot let him go to AEW. And if you're AEW, you cannot let him go to WWE.
Look, I'll say this. Let me explain my reasoning. The reason why I believe he might go just slightly to AEW. I slightly believe he might go to AEW more than WWE. Is because WWE was actually focused on a much bigger free agent that we'll get into.
Yes, that we'll get into.
So I'm wondering if that news maybe had Switchblade feel like maybe disrespected, like, oh really, like, you know, like you guys are going after someone like Kenny Omega over me or something, which is understandable, right? Because Kenny Omega's a bigger star, but you know, you don't know how he felt about that. Maybe he felt a little disrespected, you know, like, you know what? Maybe I'll sign with AEW because Tony Khan will pay me what I want to get paid. Because Tony Khan has money too. He can pay him.
Yeah. But my thing is the reason why I say that these two companies shouldn't let the other company grab one another, because this is where I feel like both companies can make, I guess, a bigger name for themselves in a way. Where it's like when you're going after free agents, guys who are big in New Pro Japan Wrestling, or guys that are free agents coming out of WWE or AEW, this is where you kind of shift the playing field. You know what I mean? Because Jay White is somebody who we know can be a main eventer because he's done it in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who we know can get a following. Who we know is great on the mic, good in the ring. And if you're WWE or AEW, that's another talent that you could bring in and do so much with. Like if you're WWE, you have the same guys over and over and over. It starts to get a little boring here. Great, luckily for them, they have NXT where they're able to develop stars and bring them up. That's what WWE is doing. But if you're AEW, you don't have that. So you kind of have to rely on guys from Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling or maybe free agents like this. But if I guarantee, like you said, Tony Khan would want to feature someone like Jay White a lot more than he has been because he really can't because of his contract to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I'm pretty sure WWE would want to keep someone like Jay White to go into AEW because that's just another star that people would want to watch. You know what I mean? And going to your competitor, it's like, why would we allow that to happen? Plus, I've been reading around the dirt sheets that Triple H has been telling creative to let's set up some stories with Jay White. And the fact that Jay White's been a free agent already and hasn't debuted in AEW yet, that tells me, or that gives me to believe that maybe this WWE thing might be a lot more legitimate. Yeah,
or attractive or legitimate.
A lot more legitimate. I think maybe there's some smoke to the fire here.
I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait and see. What does he value more? Does he value more money and recognition? Like Corey Parks in the comments said, he'll get way more recognition in WWE.
Yeah.
Or does he want to go, does he want to go to a place where he'll be allowed to wrestle elsewhere? I mean, even though he's left New Japan, we don't know if he actually still wants to, wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That's true.
Every now and then. Because he won't get that in WWE. Yeah. So let's see what he values more. But if he goes to WWE, I wouldn't be shocked either.
Yeah. Let's talk about the comments. CP says, I agree with Sami Zayn winning. Would have been groundbreaking. Could have changed the business for sure. 100%. Carbs, what's up, man? In the comments saying, spoiler alert, Hornswoggle returns to cost Roman Reigns the undisputed Universal title. That'd be fun.
Yeah, then Vince McMahon's definitely in power again. Isn't that his illegitimate son in storyline?
Yeah, in storyline, yeah, man.
His storyline, right?
He's the Tyrion Lannister. You know what I mean?
Another Game of Thrones. He's not going to bring his actual son Shane back. So let me bring Hornswoggle back, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
He's still my son.
Yeah, he's what Tyrion Lannister is for the Lannister family in Game of Thrones. To the McMahon family here in real life. You know what I mean? There you go, another Game of Thrones reference. I'm trying to do one every week. CP also says he thinks Jay White goes to WWE. He get way more recognition in WWE. That's true.
That's true.
Very true. But as Ricky said, you don't know if maybe he wants to go out and do certain things in the Indies or back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. WWE can, Ricky, they can develop a partnership with New Japan, just like AEW had, right? But it's more likely for him to be able to get that going to AEW for sure.
Right.
Carbs also goes in. Well, in the next couple of years, it will be interesting because I think Cody has the chance to help WWE convince and sign these big free agents. Not only that, but I think looking at Cody and the success he had immediately going in is attractive to guys coming out of New Japan Pro Wrestling or AEW because they're looking like, hey, before we weren't going to go over there because they weren't going to use us the right way. But look at this guy. He went over there and he automatically is getting all this recognition, great matches, good time slots, great TV time, and now a championship match at WrestleMania.
Right.
Granted, not everybody has the same story that Cody Rhodes has, but like I say, if you're WWE, you need new guys here that can come in and put on great performances and could give you new storylines. Otherwise, it's just the same old.
Right.
All right, Ricky.
Speaking of the free agents, why don't we get into that?
Yeah, co-main event of the evening, guys. We're getting into the co-main event. And speaking of free agents, there's 3 free agents coming up, all from AEW. Big-time free agents. Not only are they free agents, they're EVPs of the AEW company. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are to become free agents very, very soon. Now
I
there
believe by the
is
end of this year. By the end of this
yeah,
year, I believe.
yeah, and there's been speculation, Ricky. With both these guys, but all three of these men, there's different decisions, right? When it comes to the Young Bucks, their decision whether they stay in AEW or go to WWE is beyond money. That for them, it's their family. What will their
Right.
family think about it? How will they think about it? What will they decide? Because going to WWE, you're away a lot more than you are in AEW,
A lot more, yeah.
a lot more. So if that makes sense for not only the Young Bucks but for their family, then maybe they do it, right? For them, it's about family. For Kenny Omega, on the other hand, for Kenny Omega, it's more about um, if he's on the main roster or how he's being utilized,
Right.
right? Kenny Omega's a star. I think right now, without CM Punk, dare I say, I still believe he's their biggest star in AEW.
I say he's one of their biggest stars.
I mean, look, I
You,
get
you
the
got
emergence.
you got
I,
you got guys like MJF,
I get it. I
Jericho,
get the emergence.
CM
I get
Punk.
the emergence of
Right.
MJF, but he's still new in this position. Kenny
Right.
Omega has been that guy for years.
Yeah. I mean, the matches that he's had in New Japan Pro Wrestling, he's just a different animal when he's in Japan.
Yeah.
When he fought Will Ospreay,
Oh my god.
that match was just, I mean, it's something we have not seen in AEW yet. In AEW, you kind of get the sense, he you see like half of what he's actually capable of doing. But when he goes to Japan, the dude he's turned all the way up to level 10.
which is
The Kenny
which is
Omega.
amazing.
It is.
Which is saying something because in AEW he puts on spectacular performances.
Right.
His matches are always fun to watch. Always fun to watch. And when he goes, as you mentioned, when he goes to New Japan, it's just like on level 20.
It's a different audience over there. Over there, they appreciate the in ring,
Yeah.
the in ring athleticism and everything a lot more. I mean, believe it or not, man, America, when Hulk Hogan was still wrestling, did you know that he wrestled in New Japan as well?
No, you know what? I also didn't know Brock Lesnar wrestled in New Japan.
He did.
His time away from WWE.
But here's the thing about Hulk Hogan, man. When he was wrestling in WWE, we saw him do a lot of. I mean, Bret Hart used to talk shit about him all the time. All he could do was this and a leg drop, right? He hardly did anything when he was in WWE. When he went to New Japan, look this up on YouTube. When he went to New Japan, that is a whole different Hulk Hogan. You got to look it up on YouTube, man. I guess that's what that company, what the audience, that country, it does. It's a different world over there. So that is why the Kenny Omega of New Japan is just one of the all-time greats.
Yeah. I mean, no, dude, this is the biggest free agent. This is the biggest free agent that's going to happen. I guess since I guess can we say CM Punk? I mean, CM Punk's been a free agent for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But once we knew CM Punk was going to come back, that's what made him one of the biggest free agents of all time. Kenny Omega. Let's not forget, man, who this guy is. I mean, a lot of people really don't because they don't follow the Indies or they don't follow New Japan Pro Wrestling. A lot of people are just strictly WWE. And I'm telling you, if you don't know who Kenny Omega is, you better get familiar with him very, very quick because I'm telling you, he is the biggest free agent to come out of this year. And the Young Bucks are the biggest free agent tag teams to come out. The Young Bucks are as good as the Hardys were in their prime. They were as good as Edge and Christian were in their prime. They were as good as the Dudley Boys that were in their prime. The Young Bucks are the best.
Some would argue, yeah.
The Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world right now.
I would say it's FTR, but the Young Bucks are one of the best.
I don't know. I love FTR, but they don't put on the performances like the Young Bucks do.
Well, because I think their styles are a little different. FTR is a little more old school. And there's a lot of people that appreciate that. And the Young Bucks are more of like what today's wrestling is. A lot of, the flips, the dives, that kind of stuff. But I definitely agree that the Young Bucks are one of the best tag teams in the world right now. For sure.
Yeah. Well, okay. If you think it's FTR and I think it's the Young Bucks, AEW has.
Now, I thought it was the Briscoes, when when Jay Briscoe was still with us.
Rest in
They were
peace.
they were one they were the best. They were one of the best for years.
I mean, dude, can we just acknowledge that AEW has all the great tag teams right now? That they know how to they just know how to break tag teams. Because we could also talk about the Acclaimed. We could also talk about
Right.
the Lucha Brothers, not the Lucha Brothers, the oh my god.
Yeah. Even the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, Lucha Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, the Lucha Brothers. Who else is in that company? I mean, they have a lot of tag teams.
Their tag
Right?
teams are their division, their tag division is just
Yeah,
insane.
they're tag team rich right now.
They really are. That literally makes the entire company. But the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, Ricky, being free agents is huge. Kenny Omega was actually supposed to be a free agent February 1st of this
Yeah.
year. However, that didn't pan out because AEW had in his contract injury time that was supposed to be repaid, I guess, in a way, right?
Yeah.
Kenny Omega was injured for a long time, all of half of last year, basically.
Yeah.
He was injured, so now,
Which
we
was
don't know
smart. Which
exactly
was smart on Tony Khan's part for
100%.
overrunning that contract.
Yeah, 100%. Very smart on his end because now Kenny Omega has to stay a little bit longer due to that. But at the same time, it shouldn't be longer than 9 months of him being still in AEW. It could be a lot sooner than that, but not nobody really knows how much time he has left other than Kenny Omega and Tony Khan.
Right.
With that being said, Ricky, can you see someone like Kenny Omega making his way to WWE when his contract expires this year? And same goes for the Young Bucks. Can you finally see these three guys who I feel WWE has been chasing for years, trying to get them in
Yeah.
to WWE? And I remember there was once upon a time where we all thought that them going to WWE would never happen because those three guys with Cody helped start AEW. They were the catalysts. They were the co-founders here. But
Yeah.
after we've seen Cody go, is it now plausible that these three might go?
Well, I think the difference between Cody and them was I think Cody had that plan all along. I believe there was unfinished business in WWE for Cody Rhodes, and I always felt like I mean I was shocked just as everybody when he left, but I always felt like one day he might end up going back to WWE soon. I didn't think it would be this soon,
Yeah.
but I always felt like maybe one day he would end up going back to WWE to kind of, I guess show Vince McMahon that he's the main eventer that he thinks he is. Um, but Kenny Omega, I don't know if his style fits with WWE, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. Because if he go, we're gonna see. It's just like how I said with MJF. I think we're gonna see a little bit of a more toned down Kenny Omega if he goes to WWE. He's not gonna be able to do what he was able to do in AEW, especially not what he was able to do in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I I don't see that I don't think he fits, but will he go over there? If his goal is to main event a WrestleMania, to kind of like get that off the bucket list, or check that off before his career is said and done, then I can see him doing that. I can see him going to WWE. I think he's talked about having a match with AJ Styles in WWE at a
Yeah.
WrestleMania. I think he's
That'd
talked
be,
about that before.
that'd be
So
great.
yeah. So if that is really what he wants to do, I can see him doing it. But giving up this EVP spot that he has in AEW, I don't know. I find it a little hard to believe. And the same thing with the Young Bucks. The same thing with the Young Bucks because, as you said, they are family oriented. If they go to WWE, they're going to be gone 364 days out of the year.
I don't know
So
about that.
that's the WWE schedule. They're back on the road. You know,
Yeah.
in AEW, they only work one day a week, and they spend the weekends with their kids.
They have some live events, so they're not. It's not always. But you're right. But they have way more free time in AEW than they do in WWE, which is why the matches are a lot better, both on the TV and on the pay per view because they have more time to choreograph it in a way. Right?
Choreograph it, heal up.
Yeah.
Whereas in WWE, it's hustle and bustle every week. You don't
Yeah.
have a whole lot of time to heal up. So,
Yeah.
I guess the belief is wherever Kenny Omega goes, the Young Bucks going. I don't see him leaving. I don't.
I agree. I agree with that. I think if they do it together. But I can't see if any of those three, it definitely Kenny Omega. I could see him in WWE more than I can the Young Bucks. It's just all three of these guys grew up. Everybody that's in the wrestling business nowadays, they're in it because of WWE, because of what they've seen in the past. Just like how we love it, right?
Right.
So I'm pretty sure it's always been a bucket list of all their. It's always been a dream or a goal of theirs to make it, right? And for so long, it would. For so long, it seemed like it wasn't going to happen because of who was in charge, who was in power, right?
Right.
But now, it seems a lot more viable. Like it seems a lot more attainable. It seems like that if they were to go, they'd be featured a lot more. They'd be taken care of. Their characters won't be too different, right, from what they want it to be. And you say Kenny Omega might be a watered down or a
I
filtered.
think so. Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah. I don't think
I
he'll
don't
be.
see it.
I do. I do because there is the WWE style of wrestling, and I don't think they want the way that they do things. They don't want guys to outshine the main event. The guys who are in the main event. So imagine Kenny Omega puts on a star performance of the night, and they're trying to focus more on someone like Cody and Roman or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is how WWE operates. Um, and yeah, they won't allow him to go 30 minutes or however long he wants to, just nonstop like how he usually does, in New Japan. I don't see it.
I guess that's a good point. I didn't really see it that way, but still, I think if anybody goes there to have success or to find success, it's someone like Kenny Omega.
That is
Because
the reason. That is actually. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that is one of the main reasons that Sasha Banks left.
That's true.
Who's now Mercedes Moné in
New Japan,
New Japan Pro Wrestling, who I think will appear at the Forbidden Door. Imagine that
dude, man.
Against
He's the women's champ.
against Jamie Hayter, the current women's champion right now.
Oh
Imagine a
no,
match like that, bro.
no, I don't.
Man,
I think if it's gonna be anybody against Sasha Banks, it's not gonna be Jamie Hayter. I know you love
it is.
Jamie Hayter, Ricky.
Well, she's the current champ. She's the current champ.
Yeah, for now. But let's be honest here. Jade Cargill and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, are the two biggest women wrestlers in that company. They're holding back on Britt Baker because they don't want people getting fatigued of her. But you can't convince me there's nobody bigger than her in that company right now. When she's the champ, she is over. We've seen it last year when she was the champ. She was the wrestler. You know what I mean? She was the girl, the woman. And Jade Cargill, they're building her up. She's undefeated. She's like 50 something and 0, right?
Yeah,
but she's holding on to that TBS championship sooner or later, and she's going to get that AEW Women's title. And if you're going to do that, it has to be somebody who isn't as big as Dr. Britt Baker was, which is why I feel like if they're going to do this now, if they got to do something where maybe Jade Cargill drops just TBS, I don't need this anymore. I'm going for something bigger, and goes on and defeats.
I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see that being a good match right now.
Jade Cargill
and Mercedes.
Jamie Hayter's great. Jamie Hayter's great, man. But
she's great. She's great. I see it.
She's not
because they are gonna want to put the women's champions of both companies to face each other at the Forbidden Door.
And
it's all about it's all about quality. It's all about the quality when it comes to these kind of matches in AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So when they do that Forbidden Door, I could see it being just as good as last year's.
Yeah, 100%. But what's a bigger match, Sasha or not? I'm not even call Sasha Banks no more. Is it Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter, or Mercedes Moné and Dr. Britt Baker?
Jamie Hayter.
So
I see that being the better match. I see that being the better match.
There's no way in hell.
Yes. She is over with the AEW crowd, man. I don't know if you've been watching, but she's over.
Yes. I love Jamie Hayter. Don't get me, I don't love, but I like Jamie Hayter. I really do like Jamie Hayter. But to me, she's like,
if they put her, okay, look, they put her in there with Britt Baker. They did that with Saraya when Saraya came in. Are they going to do that with everybody? Are they going to do that with everybody that comes in? Oh, put them in there with Britt Baker.
No, okay, look, the thing about Saraya, they needed to put, they were worried about, how can I say this? Saraya needed somebody to help put her over again, because she's somebody who's coming back from a freakish injury, who's been gone she's like a Daniel Bryan type story where she shouldn't even be wrestling anymore, right? But she's here. The only reason why, let's be honest here. The only reason why she's in AEW is because WWE would not clear her to wrestle. They did not want that on their conscience. And you see it. Saraya is not all there. She is very stiff.
Yeah.
Her moves are it does not look right. It doesn't look good. It really
She's
doesn't
not.
look good.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't see it lasting.
she has that spinal stenosis thing, man. I don't think she should be in there at
Exactly.
all.
So that's why you put her someone with Britt Baker who's going to make her look good in the ring. Not saying that Jamie Hayter won't, but you got to put her in someone that's going to protect her physically and protect her character. So it's like putting Britt Baker in that match made sense. I'm
Right.
not saying everybody that comes in AEW is going to face Britt Baker. I'm just saying if you're going to do a Forbidden Door match for a women's championship, why not put someone like Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, with somebody like Dr. Britt Baker, who we know is a legit star in AEW? That's a dream match.
That's one dream match. But I don't know. We'll see. It's still very early. Still very early what happens. But I still think it's Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door.
I agree.
We'll
going back to the
that later.
topic. Yeah, going back to the topic. Kenny Omega being a free agent this year. Yes or no, Ricky? AEW, WWE, which one?
I believe he stays. I think look, he'll make a lot of money in WWE if he goes, but I think there's a lot more money to be made if they feud him with CM Punk when CM Punk comes back. Him and the Young Bucks against CM Punk and the FTR. That not only is that money, but that transcends that company. That's just good. That it transcends the company of AEW.
That changes everything.
That changes it.
I'm not saying they get WWE level, but they get damn close if they do something like that.
It's on another level, man. It really is.
It's that would be amazing.
Okay, granted, they are willing to let bygones be bygones, bury the hatchet. Let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's help this company. It looks like, I mean, I don't know. It's looking more and more to me that CM Punk is going to come back, man. I don't know how it appears to you, but it just feels like he's on his way back. And this is the feud to make. CM Punk, FTR against the Elite. You can bring all that shit back. Everything that was said, everything that happened, make it into a storyline. That's gonna bring all the viewers back. AEW will be a hot topic again.
That'd be wild. Wild. You guys listening to the main event here, brought to you by Star 6 Media at Star 6 Media on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. You guys can follow us on all our social medias at Star 6 Media _ Star 6 Media on Twitter. Rick, let's get to the main event of the evening. It's time. UFC 285 this Saturday night, March 4th, the return of John Bones Jones.
Can't wait.
Faces Ciryl Gane for that vacant UFC heavyweight championship. Yes, it's vacant. Why? Because the previous UFC heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, is gone, left the company as the champ. His last title defense was against Ciryl Gane and defeated Ciryl Gane. So now Ciryl Gane is back in the title picture, Ricky, but this time with a much, with a much tougher opponent, someone who was a champion way back when, who he didn't even lose the championship, did he? He had to give it up.
He vacated it.
So
he vacated the light heavyweight championship. His last fight against Dominic Cruz, everybody speculated that he lost that fight, but nonetheless, he came out with the win, and went away for 3 years, vacated the title, and said he would come up to heavyweight. Well, it took 3 years, but here he is. He's finally here.
Another man's trash is another man's treasure. You have two guys vying for the heavyweight championship that Francis Ngannou vacated. Here we are, Ricky. Well, look, Ngannou left. He can care less about the heavyweight championship in UFC. He's gone. He can care less. If he cared, he would still be here. Another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Let's see if he fights Deontay Wilder. That's the big rumor right now. I'll watch that.
I watched that too, but we'll get into that later.
They're almost equal, as in like punching power. Deontay Wilder is always known for that big right hand. So let's see who hits harder. But
that'd be
anyways,
there's no wrestling. There's no wrestling in boxing. So if you're Francis Ngannou, you can't pull what you did against Ciryl Gane.
Nope.
That'll be strictly someone's getting knocked out.
Oh yeah. Let's see if it happens. But anyway, back to the UFC.
Right, we digress. Back to the UFC. John Bones Jones, Ricky Ciryl Gane, heavyweight championship in the UFC 285. That's the main event. This is the main event. Who wins and why?
Ooh, man, bro. Ciryl Gane, I think, is the best striker in the heavyweight division right now. I think the dude is just on another level. I don't think anybody can stand up with that guy in the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
Except but it remains to be seen with Sergey Pavlovich who's coming up. But
so yeah.
yeah, but John Jones has that wrestling. He's had that. That was one of his main strengths when he was fighting in the light heavyweight division. The wrestling, the elbows, the submissions that he used to do. I mean, I remember when he submitted Lyoto Machida standing up,
Yeah.
which was just still one of the ugliest ones I've ever seen, man. It was just wow. But with that being said, here's the thing: when Ciryl Gane fought Francis Ngannou, he got taken down by a guy who's not a wrestler, who was fighting on a bad knee, and he got held down.
Yep. Which
right?
cost him the fight.
Which cost him the fight. Because Francis Ngannou was not going to stand up and fight this man.
Nope.
Even though he had the punching power to knock him out, but you got to catch Ciryl Gane. So did Ciryl Gane, did he work on that wrestling? Did he learn from that fight against Francis Ngannou? That remains to be seen, right? He fought Tai Tuivasa, who there was no danger of being taken down, and he put him out. I see John Jones going for the wrestling, taking him down, landing those hard elbows, and getting a TKO win. I got John Jones winning.
Really?
I got him winning.
This fight's interesting, Ricky. You know, if this is John Jones from 3 years ago, you know, John Jones is always someone who leaves and comes back, right? He goes through something happens with him where he's stripped from the title, where he's gone, suspended or whatever, comes back and is always as dominant as he once was, right? It's like he never left.
Right.
Right. And he was dominant throughout his entire career when he was fighting the UFC. But this is 3 years removed, John Jones. This is the John Jones that's coming back, and the UFC is nowhere near the same as it was back then. You have bigger, tougher, way more athletic guys than the UFC. If anything, John Jones, a prime version of John Jones, will be perfect in this era of the UFC. But we're not getting a younger prime version of John Jones. We're getting a much older version that we don't know of John Jones because he hasn't been here in 3 years. This UFC has passed him by in my eyes. Now I'm saying this, right? Not knowing this guy can come in and just manhandle Ciryl Gane. And you know what? And if that happens, I wouldn't be too surprised because John Jones is legitimately a great fighter and he's always shown it, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm not sitting here saying that he's just gonna get beat up. I do believe that he's still.
If it stays standing up, if it stays standing up, I think he's gonna get beat up. I think Ciryl Gane's gonna pick him apart.
Well, that's the thing, right?
I think so, but I think he will go to the wrestling. I think he'll take him down.
Yeah,
it still remains to be seen if Ciryl Gane worked on the takedown defense.
Exactly, and I think that's where I was going. Right, it's like that's why this fight's interesting because you have John Jones who hasn't fought in a long time, but there's one thing that you hit on that makes all the difference is wrestling. John Bones Jones is phenomenal at wrestling. He is legitimate at wrestling. It's one of his strengths. And as you mentioned, Ciryl Gane, his last fight his last championship fight was against Francis Ngannou, someone who never wrestled his entire career. He was known for striking. He was known for knocking guys out. But as you mentioned, even someone as dominant in striking as Francis Ngannou didn't want to fight, or he didn't want to strike or stand up and box someone like Ciryl Gane. So what did he do? He learned wrestling on a bad knee and defeated Ciryl Gane. So it's like now you have John Jones, that's his strength, who's going to come back, whether he's 3 years removed. How can you not give him the advantage, right?
Right.
That being said, looking on the flip side of it, if you're Ciryl Gane, you know this. This isn't secret information that you and I just know, Ricky. This is something that he look. If Ciryl Gane could devise a game plan of learning some kind of ground game, why can't Ciryl Gane?
Right.
I mean, if Ngannou can do it, why can't Gane? You know what I mean? So it's
right. Because I agree with that because I know in the Ngannou fight, he was not expecting that from him.
Yeah, nobody was.
Nobody. And especially him in his training camp, they were like, "Oh no, he's not going to take you down.
Exactly.
Just pick his ass apart, standing up."
Right. Yeah.
and it surprised him, and that's why he lost.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think you hit it right there too. I think he is going to expect this from John Jones, obviously, and maybe he's worked on it.
I hope so.
At least stuffing the takedowns, keeping it standing up, because that's where I think he has the most advantage.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and John Jones, you know, his last fights before he vacated the title were not good fights. All right.
No,
He didn't it looked he was starting to look a little more human in his last 2 or 3 fights before he vacated the title. You know,
3 years
everybody
ago
thought,
now.
yeah, 3 years removed, 3 years on the shelf, you know, 3 years not, not fighting, and then in a new division, a division where him that a division that makes him look like a normal heavyweight. Whereas in light heavyweight, in the 205 division, he was a big 205 pounder.
Yeah,
He had the size, he had the
the strength.
the strength, the size, the strength, what shit,
He was,
I'm
he was dominant.
the reach.
Yeah,
There we
and
go. That's where I was
he was
going at, the reach advantage.
which is why he was so dominant on the ground because he had those advantages.
Yeah. He had the reach advantage. He had all of those advantages.
Yeah,
Here at the heavyweight division, he looks like another heavyweight. He's fighting a lot of big guys that are as big as him, if not bigger.
yeah.
So,
This is a new
yes,
generation of fighters, man.
so there's a lot of question marks. I get it. I mean, I still haven't. I'm pretty sure he's the underdog in this fight, but I like rooting for the underdog, and I think he wins this fight. But you know, I agree with you too in a way. Cyril Gane is a very dangerous opponent for him.
I'm going for Cyril Gane. The only reason why I'm going for Cyril Gane because I know who John Bones is. John Bones Jones is. I know he was a champion that vacated it, or let's be honest, the only reason why he's not champion anymore is because of shit that he has done outside of the ring, outside of the octagon. And
Yeah,
it's not like he left because of injury. All
right.
right, let's not paint John Jones to be a saint here. All
No,
right,
no.
he's done a lot of stupid things outside of the octagon, which is the reason why he's been gone, or at least some of the reason why he's been gone in the UFC.
Yeah,
I'm not going for John Jones because I don't believe, and I've always said this, and I'm always consistent with it. You know this. I don't believe you just come back and automatically get a title shot. Whenever Conor McGregor decides to come back, he's always given some kind of title. He's either given a title shot or a main event.
right.
And I get it. It's there's money to be made in these companies, but you got to earn those spots for me. And
Well,
John Jones, yes, he didn't lose his championship,
right.
but but
But I
you
mean,
got to come back and earn.
it's not that he didn't just lose the championship. He's also considered one of the greatest of all time.
I get it. I
You
get it.
know,
But you still
I
have
mean,
to earn it.
he dominated that 205-pound division.
Yeah,
I think
but this
that's
is
the
a
only
this is a,
reason he's getting that's the only reason he's getting this title shot.
this is a whole nother division and a whole nother generation of talent here, man. And that's the
I
thing
get it.
with me.
I
It's
get
like,
it.
you know what I mean? Like, trust me, I'm gonna be all in on this fight. Right? We're gonna be watching it. There's no way, I'm not gonna be excited for it. Don't get
There's
me
a huge
wrong.
fight.
Yeah, don't get me
Huge
wrong.
fight.
Don't get me wrong. It's a big fight to be made, right? Where
Yeah.
you and I are happy it's made. It's just me. I'm just being consistent here. I've always said
Right.
that these guys have to earn it, and him just coming out of nowhere getting a title shot
Right.
to me is like, okay,
Well,
well,
okay, say he beats Cyril Gane.
then okay, good. Then he proved me wrong. I'll be the first to admit it.
I agree with everything you said about him, all the bullshit that he's done outside of the octagon and all that shit that he's been doing. Yeah, you know, yeah, all that shit. I mean, yeah, he should get punished for it, and I think he did.
Yeah,
You know, I think he's paid his dues now, and but the fact of the matter, when we get back, excuse me, when we get back to brass tacks here, we get back to the fighting aspect, right? This dude has dominated the light heavyweight division. He's been the champion. Look at the light heavyweight division now. How many champions have we had since he vacated the title?
I
I
get
think
it.
four, right?
It's literally been it's changing hands
It's hot
more
potato.
more
It's
than
hot
the other
potato.
division. Yeah,
It's hot potato right now.
yeah.
That tells you all you need to know, right? That tells you everything right now. What this guy meant to that division.
But this isn't
So
that division though.
I know, but
That's the thing.
that's okay. So we just saw Alexander Volkanovski move up to another division, straight
Yes,
hot shotting straight to a title match against Islam
yes.
Makhachev, right?
But there's difference there.
But that wasn't his division though, right?
Right, but there was something else on the line. That's the reason why Islam Makhachev even called out Volkan. Remember, it wasn't Volkanovski going to that. It's not like Volkanovski, wanted that fight. He was called out, and why would he say no? Let's be honest. Let's remember here, the only reason why that fight was even thought about from Islam Makhachev's point of view was because Volkanovski held that number one pound for pound fighter in the world that holds no barrier, right? It doesn't matter what division you are. It's only one ranked. You know what I mean? There's only one number one guy, and Islam Makhachev wanted that spot. So he called out Volkanovski. Volkanovski, in return, had to move up to his division and fight for his title shot where they both had something to give up there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I get what you're trying to say, but I'm glad you bring those two up because I was going to bring those two up regardless. Looking at this fight between Ciryl Gane and Jon Jones, right? If you're looking at someone who's great in striking and great in the ground, this is a very similar fight to what we just saw with Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev, where you have someone who's really dominant on the ground and the other really dominant in the striking. And we've seen these two guys go at it. And it was such a good fight. And this very well could be something similar, right? It very well could be something similar. But you have the number one, number two guy fighting there. And here you have Ciryl Gane, who, as we both know, is very, very talented. Jon Jones, who we know is very talented, but it's just the 3 years removed part, moving up the weight class.
Yeah.
That just scares me a little bit, right? I mean, look at boxing, right? When you see someone as talented and as great as Canelo moving up, there's just something different. Sticking to UFC, Israel Adesanya moving up to light heavyweight is just different. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was even different for Volkanovski, right? The size. Yeah. I think the size and the reach advantage was a little much for him, even though he still looked good in defeat, and some may have thought he won the fight, but
I did.
But he didn't dominate. So, these are different weight classes. You're right. Jon Jones is coming up to a very different weight class, but I believe this is his natural weight class. I think, because he's always been a big guy. He's always been a big 205 pounder.
Yeah, that's true.
He's talked about going to everybody's been wanting to see him go into the heavyweight division for a long time. Yeah. Now he's here. So, for a guy who's dominated that, who's been the 205 king for so long, to come into another weight class up higher, we see that a lot. We've seen that with Volkanovski too. So, I mean, I don't hate that he's getting an immediate title shot. Minus all the outside bullshit. That's what that is, right? But when it comes to the octagon, the shit that he's done in the octagon, I believe he more than deserves an immediate title shot at heavyweight.
Yeah, I agree. I agree to an extent, Ricky, for sure. I have Ciryl Gane winning for all that I just said. I think
I wouldn't hate that either, man. I wouldn't. I like both these. I don't have a dog in this fight. I like both these guys. So I just want to see the best man win. So it should be a good fight. It should be a good fight.
It should be a really, really good fight. Real quickly, what is your thought on the co-main event of the evening with Valentina Shevchenko defending her championship against Alexa Grasso, which should be another really good fight?
Yeah. Well, Valentina Shevchenko, she didn't look good in the last fight. But Alexa Grasso is a very good boxer.
Yeah.
But it's also the same thing with Ciryl Gane. We got to see how she is in the ground, because Valentina Shevchenko is an all-around great fighter. She's good standing up. She's good on the ground. She can do whatever she wants to do. Grasso is we'll see what she did in training camp to prepare for a mixed martial arts fight. She is one of the best boxers in that division, but she's gonna have to be good all around.
Yeah.
Against Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. So with that said, I think I might go with Valentina for a successful title defense, even though it would be great for Mexico to have another champion.
This time in the women's division.
In the women's division, right? We already got two. We got two in the men's, right? So, I mean, imagine if she wins. Mexico's gonna explode, man, with champions.
Well, what we saw in Brazil, when UFC really started blowing up, we're starting to see with Mexico, man. There's really just a whole different breed of fighters coming out that are just dominant. That are great. Both women have 3 losses in their career, Ricky. Shevchenko, obviously, with the more experienced fighter, has 23 wins. Grasso has 15. This is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a good fight. This is the co-main event for a reason.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Shevchenko does pull out a win, but I would not be surprised if Grasso scores the upset here, man. And actually, I'm rooting for Grasso. You know, I would definitely want to see her win. But Shevchenko still champ for a reason, and I think she proves it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like you said, man, it would be very, very nice to see an upset. So we'll see what happens in this fight.
We'll see what happens with this fight. And UFC 284, there's gonna be plenty of fights on the card and on the prelims.
Correction,
Make sure
285. Correction.
I'm sorry, yeah, correction, 285. I'm still with the Volkanovski and Makachev. My bad. Yeah, UFC 285 this Saturday on ESPN Plus, UFC pay-per-view. Make sure you guys tune in, watch that. My brother and I will be here next Tuesday to talk about that. You know, I'll give you all the results, our thoughts, and what we saw. And hopefully it's a good show, man. That John Jones and Cyril Gane is crazy. UFC, these pay-per-views so far, man, they've been going out with. They started strong here.
They're on their 30-year anniversary, and they're not disappointing, man. I can see. I mean, I can see Dana White's just gonna load this fucking year up with great main events. We already seen 2 great pay-per-view main events, and we're gonna see another one, man.
We're gonna see
what a start! What a start to this year, bro.
Right, and then you have so many more fights coming up, man. We still have the rematch between Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman coming up. We still have the rematch between Pereira and Adesanya coming up. There's just so many fights that that this company has, man. We're in a good spot as fans, for UFC fans, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and luckily for you all, my brother and I will be here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. to discuss it and to talk it all with you guys. And again, we really appreciate you guys watching tonight. For Carbs, we appreciate you being in the comments. CP, thank you for watching, my boy. Eric, Paulina, Anthony, Flores, man, we appreciate you guys being in the comments, letting your voices be heard here on the main event. And of course, to my brother, my co-host, Ricky, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. We appreciate you being on. Appreciate you giving us your knowledge and wisdom when it comes to both wrestling, MMA, and even boxing. So we appreciate you being on today for sure.
Thank you, and again, thanks to everybody that was in the comments. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all the birthday wishes as well. And we'll be back here next Tuesday.
Absolutely. The main event is brought to you by Star 6 Media. Make sure to follow Star 6 Media on all our social media platforms. And Ricky, we will be back next week. Way better than ever. My brother and I will be live in person together. One of the, something we haven't done in a very, very long time. Rick in the comments, happy birthday, Ricky, our guy Rick. Make sure to watch Rick, and make sure to watch him and Kyle on Only Football.
Thank you, Rick.
Tomorrow we're gonna show you guys just exactly who they are, what the show's about. You'll see a little preview of Only Football every Monday, Thursday, even Wednesday night. So. Yep. Have at it. Thanks, Rick. We appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, this has been the main event, and we will be back next Tuesday.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.